One Punch Man Season 3 just gave us its first fight, and it's something, because I just got done watching episode 3, and look, it is not as bad as I feel like people are probably going to say it was. I'd put it on par with some of Season 2's fights, which, look, I understand that Season 2 also got a lot of hate, but people are comparing all of this to Season 1, which was literally a miracle, and everyone involved with it calls it a miracle. So getting what we got with this fight of Garo versus the Bug God and King the Ripper, granted, this is also not a super important fight. It does set some stuff up. It kills Garo. Obviously, he's not dead. He's the main villain that we're building up to with the Monster Society, but it wasn't as bad as I feel like people were anticipating. The hair had a surprising amount of movement. The general fight was not just a slide presentation, and that is the bare minimum, obviously, but with the way that people have been dogging on this show, at least the fights weren't half bad. Now, the rest of this episode is a little bit of a different story. Now, we're really exposition heavy right now. Like really exposition heavy. We start out this episode with a heavy dump on the basically limiter, which we already kind of knew a little bit about, but it's essentially what allows someone like Saitama to become so strong. Is there's a limiter that keeps most people's power contained, but people like Saitama and other individuals are able to break past that limiter and gain unbelievable amount of strength, but typically at a cost. With Saitama, he has depression and he has hair loss, which ultimately isn't that big of a trade-off for being the strongest character in the universe, but I digress. The rest of the episode also gave us a bunch of setup for the monsters and hopefully the recovery mission of the kids that have been kidnapped. And look, again, this is where we get into the presentation stuff where the still frames, in my opinion, look really good, but that's what they are. They're still frames. And I can't argue with that's not great. I just don't exactly know what else I would want out of this. I have not read up until this point of the manga. I probably will just because I need to see what the comparison is. Obviously, I know the art in One Punch Man is literal god tier, but for moments like this where we're getting severe exposition dump, I am genuinely curious to see how it's handled in the manga, because that would give me an idea of, okay, maybe they could have handled this better, but ultimately, when you're just introducing a bunch of characters all at once and setting up what's going to be the big battle, which I don't know how much of the rest of the season it's going to take up with the Monster Association. Fingers crossed it's soon. I don't know. I can't complain, but I also can understand where people are coming from because, yeah, it is a slide presentation, and we can call it that. I think that's fair. But our second fight, which was the one on the water, that one was okay as well. It was whatever, but again, small fight, didn't matter all that much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Drop a like and follow while you're there.